What is the weirdest thing you've heard or had happen to you while using a public restroom? NSFW. Some guy in the Seattle Greyhound station OD'd in the women's bathroom and I had to call 911. The paramedics moved him to the lobby where he died while we were waiting for our bus. I was 16. Worked for a really large company and decided to use the restroom near the boardroom, more private. When I walked in, one of our board members is at a urinal wearing a suit and jacket, with his pants and undies dropped all the way to the ground. Apparently that is how this 70-year-old man has peed his entire life. Just odd. My under 18 self stopped at a public park restroom to take a piss. A guy perhaps in his mid-60s sidled up to me, smiled, and looked my junk up and down in the urinal. I left. Not necessarily a public restroom. I worked at a financial company with over 2,000 people in one office. There are around 10 different bathrooms in the building, all with multiple stalls urinals. Anyway, I was on my break and ran to the bathroom to relieve myself. I saw someone in one of the stalls because feet and doors were closed. As I walk up to the urinal, I hear the guy sneeze. I say bless you like people do for some reason. Guy in the stall hits me back with, "That wasn't a sneeze." I just left and went to a different bathroom. This girl was moaning in the stall next to me and I assumed she was masturbating, so I walked by without looking. She called out help. It turns out she was moaning in pain and she was having a medical emergency. I called an ambulance. I was driving between Houston and Austin and stopped at a gas station to go pee. I do my business and start washing my hands when I looked up and saw a man covered head to toe in burn marks staring at me from a stall. I didn't hear or see anyone when I went inside, so I literally jumped and ran out of there. I still feel bad about it, but I like to tell myself it was a ghost so I don't feel like such an asshole. I was at a goth club and I was nauseous because I drank too many gin and tonics. So I went to the bathroom to take a poop. My stomach hurt, so I was rubbing my belly like a cartoon character as I waited for a stall to open. A gay Asian guy in bondage gear, not odd for the location, walked up to me and said, "Oh honey, stomach ulcers?" and gave me a hug and patted my back. I didn't have a stomach ulcer, but I was very compelled to hug back because I appreciated the sympathy. He then walked off without saying anything else. Seemed like a good guy. Someone thanking Jesus out loud after every splash. I had the pleasure of hearing some poor soul trying to pass a kidney stone in a movie theater restroom. His screams would have scared the poop out of me if that wasn't why I was in there in the first place. Meth head in a Toronto second cup bathroom warned me that dolphins are not to be trusted and told me about how they're mind controlling humans while I peed. Not me, but it happened to my son. He was about 4, maybe 5 at the time. We were on vacation in San Francisco, CA. We were on Fisherman's Wharf and my son and I went in to use the restroom. It was cool and rainy day and the tile floors were wet. We go in a stall so he could pee as all the urinals were taller than him. So he drops trow and hikes up his shirt and jacket and saddles up to the toilet and he starts peeing. Well, he is on his tippy toes and all of a sudden he is head first in the toilet. He slipped and nosedived into the toilet. He was soaked head to waist. I get him out of the toilet. I'm struggling so hard trying not to laugh. I get him out and strip his shirt and jacket off of him and just put them in the trash and wash and dry him off. Take my jacket and put it on him. He's crying and I'm dying from laughter inside. We get out of the bathroom and head to the nearest store and get him a new shirt and jacket. Then find my wife and daughter, who both proceeded to ask why he was in all new clothes. Then once I tell them, they start laughing. He still hates when I bring up the time he fell into the toilet at Fisherman's Wharf. I was in the bathroom of movie theater peeing in a urinal when I felt something tug on my shirt. I turned around and there was this little kid, had to be younger than 5. He asked if I could hold him up so he can pee in the urinal next. We are the only ones in this bathroom and I'm peeing hard because I just got out of a movie. I had such a dad moment though because I said ask your mom. He said okay and skipped out of the bathroom. I didn't even wash my hands. I just wanted to be out of there before a Dateline camera crew showed up. Someone was taking a poop and eating and talking on the phone. I was disgusted and impressed with the multitasking. I was pooping and let out a really violent fart and someone outside said bet that burned and he sounded like Larry the Cable Guy. There was hot water in the toilet. Not that I directly touched the toilet water, but the whole thing was radiating heat. I was in a stall at work browsing Reddit after using the toilet and just killing time until my break was over, when what can I only tell was a somewhat older man shuffling his way over to the stall next to mine. He then lets out a thunderous fart and sits on the toilet and moans out, "Oh dear God, it's the end of days." I immediately put myself together and left that restroom before I heard any more. At a heavy metal concert, Fear Factory Ministry mishaps, and I'm in the stall poopin'. Concert hasn't started yet. I hear this convo out by the urinals. OUHH. Sorry man's alright. It's a nice cock, isn't it? Sure. Once upon a time I was in Europe and accidentally locked myself inside of a stall that had a toilet I couldn't figure out how to flush. And then a door I couldn't figure out how to open. I had to climb over the stalls because the gap wasn't big enough below. So I'm making my great escape and some dude walks up to the stall and I make a small noise. He looks up and I just hope he has forgotten it by now. Was pissing at a urinal and the guy next to me said, "Don't judge me. I'm a grower, not a shower." I mostly ignored him. Then he asked me if I wanted to buy some weed from him. But before I could answer, which would have been no, he said, "Well, it isn't real weed. It's fake weed. Doesn't actually get you high. It's what I smoke when I'm practicing guitar. Keep it weird, Austin." Was using the urinal in the Port Authority men's room when some random guy walks up behind me and says, in a raspy voice, "Hey kid. I like your hair still peeing." I turn around and say thanks. And he says, "You like pineapple?" Caught off guard I ask, "What? Pineapple?" At this point I'm zipping my pants back up and starting to turn around to face him. He then points to underneath the wall of the first bathroom stall to a black plastic bag, like one from the liquor store, and says, "Yeah, you wanna buy one?" I got one right there. It's delicious sure enough. There's a black plastic bag with a pineapple sticking out of it on the floor of the Port Authority men's room. I told him I was allergic to pineapple. He seemed shocked and, quite frankly, really sad that I couldn't eat his delicious pineapple. And we parted ways. Overheard someone on the phone getting the results of their STD test, which was positive. When I was a kid, my parents worked in a university as professors and I would go to their offices after school until they finished work and we would go home. Importantly, the men's and women's bathrooms were right next to each other. And they had the type of ceilings which are tiles resting on a grid type metal grid. One day, I was about 10 years old. I went to the bathroom. I was sitting on the toilet in the stall and for some reason looked up. Directly over my head, there was a guy looking down at me. He had climbed up from the men's side, removed the ceiling tiles, and was peeping at the female college students as they went to the bathroom. Apparently I was the first person that looked up. When I was younger, high school age, I had been constipated for a few days. I got the urge while I was in the mall and went to the bathroom. It was empty when I got there and was having a rough time pushing this meteorite out. Then I hear some people walk in. A man and a woman talking. Then they started making out. Now I was a pretty shy kid, so I tried hard not to make noise and be noticed. Next thing I know I can see through the crack in the stall that the girl is taking off her pants. I guess it escalated to the point where I was getting nervous, which caused the giant poop I was trying to take to rock it out. They of course noticed. And she says, "Oh poop, someone's in here," then they rushed out. My sister always believed in the importance of teaching her son, even from a young age, to use the correct terminology for genitalia. There was no "that's your pee-pee" or "those are your privates." It was always "that is your penis." So the day before Christmas Eve we are doing some last minute shopping. My nephew was mostly potty trained at this time, but still wore a diaper just in case. She goes off to do some shopping and I take him to the washroom for a change as he has had an accident. As I'm wiping him clean, he screams bloody murder in a washroom full of people. Auntie, don't touch my penis. I was freaking mortified, worrying that people are thinking I'm molesting him. So I say loudly, yet kindly, we have to make sure you're clean. I've never been so embarrassed in my life walking out of that stall. And to top it off, I was like 19 but definitely looked younger. TL. Doctor, my nephew screamed at me not to touch his pee-pee in a very busy mall bathroom the day before Christmas Eve. I walked into the bathroom at a hospital food court. Was in dire need to relieve myself. As I walked in, I heard some thumping from one of the stalls, like someone was gently pounding on the stall walls. Then I saw two pairs of shoes, one in front of the other, under the closed stall door. Due to my need to empty my bladder, I decided to ignore what I saw and took care of business. As I was walking out, the stall door opened, and one of the food court employees came out. Alone. He had been changing into his uniform on his way to work, including his shoes. I actually had thought it was two guys having hanky-panky in the stall. He must had thought I was crazy as I walked out of the bathroom laughing hysterically at myself. At an empty movie theater bathroom when all of a sudden I hear a little girl singing Silent Night. It's not very weird, but the first week I had moved to New Jersey from California, I was in a bathroom and I heard two ladies speaking Spanish, but it was so different. They were speaking Spanish in a NJ accent and it confused the hell out of me. I walked into a public bathroom at a beach and found a big bearded guy nervously staring at the ceiling above the stall while using the only urinal. As I stepped past him toward the stall, he screamed stop since his hands were full of pee-pee. He could only gesture upward with his head. I looked up and saw a very large pigeon sitting in a nest in the corner, with a super thick Slavic dialect. Bearded guy says, "Never trust a mother bird." He washed his hands, still staring at the nest, and backed out of the bathroom. I was out drinking one evening. Went to go to the bathroom and there were three ladies blocking the guy's bathroom. They told me I couldn't go in. It was the only bathroom in the place and I had to piss bad. I waited about 20 seconds then pushed past them. As I walk in, there is one dude at the end of the line of urinals with his pee-pee out, not facing a urinal. He's giving it a pep talk saying things like, "Come on bud, you can do it and don't let me down again." I take quite a long piss and he keeps talking to his dong the entire time. I exited the restroom and told my buddy what happened. He had to see it for himself, so he went to the restroom. Same girls outside trying to stop him and same dude in there still trying to sweet talk his wang into doing something. Edit. Lots of speculation about this man pee-pee going on around here. Edit. For everyone saying shy bladder. I'm not sure how facing the entrance with your pee-pee in hand and talking it is going to help. Every stall was open. Just go squat. It was the middle of the day but it was at a casino. I was at the urinal. There was a guy a couple of urinals away that was obviously drunk. Nothing too crazy. Just a lot of swaying. He may have lowered his pants, which would also be crazy. He suddenly got the urge to vomit, so he spun around to puke in a toilet. Vomit and urine started erupting as the guy got tangled up in his pants and fell over. He didn't get knocked out or anything. As I walked out I thought, I really hope that guy has a room here and I really hope no one is waiting for him outside the bathroom. E.G. Wife. Sneak back to the room. Shower. Burn your clothes. And hit the sack. Sitting on the toilet in a Denny's bathroom. The large plastic toilet paper holder was just missing the cover. So when I pulled on the toilet paper roll, it fell off and rolled perfectly under the stall wall and fell over right behind the feet of a man standing at the urinal next door. The man must have seen it because I instantly hear him say "Ope." "I got it, thanks," I said, expecting him to finish his business then help me out. What I did not expect was for him to bend down to pick it up right then and there. But not how one normally bends down. I can guarantee he was midstream when he leaned over backwards like fricking Neo in the Matrix. I see his legs bend forward, then see his hand reaching down behind him. He bends over far enough to grab the roll. Stream still going. It was a urinal with water in the base so I could hear it. He grabs it and perfectly rolls it back over to me. Gives a thumbs up. Then stands straight up again. Unfricking real. Edit. I told this story at an open mic stand-up once, which was being held in a small local theater. I tried to get the stage manager to lower the curtain to about my knee height so I could stand behind it and give the proper visual. The stage manager didn't do it and it sorta killed the bit. I'm glad my internet friends get me. My first time going to the Sturgis motorcycle rally. Was told to meet my new friend Dave and his friend Uncle Dick at the TA in Rogers. MN. I ride my bike there and go inside to piss. There's an old man inside already taking a leak. I say, "You must be Uncle Dick?" He switches hands, turns halfway around, and reaches out to shake my hand. "I'll just wait until you're done. My best trip to the rally yet." One time, I was taking a piss at a music venue, and this dude came up next to me taking a mean piss. With a loud audible sigh of relief, he looked at me and said, "The only thing that makes you moan more than coming is a good piss, am I right?" Followed by, "I'm glad you laughed. I rarely tell that joke cause I've gotten my ass kicked a few times from it. But the 7/10 times it went good makes it worth it. Guess he must really like his odds." Hey you. Thanks for watching Reddit stories. If you enjoyed the video, consider hitting like and subscribing. Your support means a lot. We also have a Discord community where we will be running giveaways and fun surprises throughout the year. Come along and meet some new friends. You look great today.